Ladies and gentlemen, major raids taking place in Los Angeles. Iconic city is grinding to a halt as ICE raids send its many migrant workers into hiding. So we've got these videos that are popping up. Take a look at this with Mayor Karen Bass.
Who did you speak with? Mayor Bass, who did you speak with on the phone just now? Who did you speak with on the phone? Wow.
I am going to say.
Mayor Bass, I need to get my phone and we're departing.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Mayor Bass. Mayor Bass.
Mayor Bass.
Oh my
Any
God.
comment, Mayor Bass?
Thank you.
Mayor Bass, any comment?
Yes, my comment is they need to leave, and they need to leave right now. They need to leave because this is unacceptable.
Who did you speak with?
Just wait and see.
Mayor Bass,
They will be leaving.
I am so happy, so happy to see all of this. There was a viral tweet, several in fact, over the weekend. Traffic on the 4th of July in LA, none. All the highways were green. People were shocked. There's videos of construction workers, full teams, running full speed at a construction sites. And they tell me I should care, and I don't know why. They're not going to convince me to care. This is massive. It's what the American people voted for. Trump's now got more funding for this. I think ICE is now one of the biggest law enforcement operations departments in the country. And we are seeing real tangible effects in Los Angeles as these criminal aliens are fleeing and many of them self-deporting.
Yeah, the downstream effects of Trump's policies regarding the border and regarding ICE and stuff like that, they're starting to manifest. And I think that the positives that people haven't thought of are going to really shock them. You know, the amount, like just the idea that traffic is, you know, in LA, I mean, I don't know how many people.
Well, we don't need the EVs anymore.
We don't need electric vehicles?
We don't need self-driving autonomous electric vehicles because traffic has alleviated itself.
Well, I mean, fair enough, but I still like my Tesla.
No, you're allowed to have one. I'm just saying the idea that all of this traffic is causing a big problem, so we need to get rid of cars. Not anymore.
Not only that, but like the, you know, visits to the emergency room. If you've got people that are here illegally, they're not going to a primary care to see, you know, a specialist when they have something wrong. They're going to go to the emergency room and they're going to be like, "Hey, I've got this problem." Makes the wait time significantly
they're not
longer.
lining up outside the welfare offices or the food pantries or anything like that because they're just not here.
Yeah, the services that the American people depend on are going to see significant, lightening of the load.
We were just in Chicago, and when we landed, Brandon was like, "We better get to the hotel right away, otherwise traffic's going to get real bad." And then we drove on the highway, and it was straight shot.
I also didn't know that they had postponed all of the festivities until the day after the 4th. Well, everything that I thought we were going to see traffic for that day, we didn't until the following day.
Well,
But
speaking of immigration, Chicago doesn't do fireworks anymore. That blew my mind. The Chicago fire.
Why is that?
Well, the arguments I hear is, but Navy Pier does fireworks. It's a private thing.
Mm-hmm.
Navy Pier has generic Wednesday, Saturday fireworks. Chicago, as a city, used to do a 4th of July ceremony. We'd all go down to the lake. Everybody would line up and they'd watch.
Mm-hmm.
Now it's nondescriptive holiday period. And Navy Pier has fireworks, but they always have fireworks, so it's not a special moment.
Because they don't want to celebrate America.
Well, these are
I
fired
think
out
it's-
over the lake, too. So
Right.
I wonder if it's a kind of a jurisdictional thing as well, where they're allowed to shoot them over the lake. But we used to have them along the Chicago River right there in the city, and we did not see that.
Well, we used to celebrate this country. When I visited home, it's not all immigration, but the baseball fields at my local park are overgrown with weeds. They put up 2 big soccer goals just in the middle of the baseball fields. And it looks, to be honest, within the past couple years, the baseball fields being overgrown are a product of people not having kids and not bringing their kids out to play baseball. When I was a kid, every weekend, there were 4 baseball fields and they were full. Actually, I think there were 6.
Kelly Park. I used to play Little League there when I was a kid.
Nobody's there anymore. Nobody's there. And so it's not just immigration, but immigration is a component of and a symptom of. The reason why Democrats argue they need to bring in all these immigrants is because there's no workers and there's no young people. But that's also contributing to a decline in American cultural traditions and norms, as well as people not having kids and bringing them out. So it's compounding.
Yeah, it's 2 things.
Right.
The rule of law, which you were talking about before. If you want to see the Trump administration puts its foot down and says there is going to be law in this country, their number one, their showcase, we're going to reimpose law, is on immigration. And it's the other thing. The second thing is what you're saying is, how are you going to return love of the country? How are you going to return that it's permissible to love this country, to join your fortune to it, and to say this is something great and important? If you don't reassert there is such a thing as an American, there's such a thing as an American border, there's such a thing as American territory, and there's an American inheritance. If you don't reassert that, then you're not going to have anything.
Well, love is earned, not bought, in my opinion, unless obviously you subscribe to OnlyFans. But
quote unquote love.
Yeah.
We drove around our old neighborhood, and it's crazy to see very few people walking around. The park was largely empty, and it was the 4th. It's the 4th of July, and it was just mostly empty. And we had talked about this before. People are just staying inside. They're not going out. It's crazy to think, but the internet really has caused a lot of these problems. But it's a combination of the internet creating a digital social faux interaction online where you don't need to go outside anymore, and people didn't have kids. So there's no kids to play Little League anymore, even if you wanted to. And then nobody goes outside. It used to be back in the day, I'd be sitting at home as a little kid, and I'd be like, I want to be doing something. Where are my friends? I'd have to go outside, go find them.
Right.
Call my friend's house. They're not here. I think they're at the park. Okay, let's go try and find them. Riding around trying to find people. Now it's you sit in the house, you sit online, you swipe on TikTok.
Yep.
Actually,
we used to run into
YouTube
each other
Shorts
in the street, and it would just be like, "Oh, hey."
Oh, and then we hang
what's
out.
Up? And then we hang out for the rest of the day. And we do things like that.
Like I'd be skating on the street, and then Brandon would be skating, and I'd be like, "Oh, hey, there you are. Let's go skate somewhere else." And then now we're in a group.
And we pick up a couple more people on the way. Now we've got a full team, and we're out, and we're doing things all night.
You'd think with the internet, you'd be able to just connect instantly, and everybody would be together. It's not. It's the opposite.
Well, I'm curious to see if this is the same thing in other cities too, because I know as far as crime goes in Chicago, that's gone way up, obviously since pandemic, and it seems to me, I mean, obviously there was that River North shooting that happened, 4 people and, a couple dozen injured just days before the 4th. It makes me wonder if that does play a factor in some of this as well, because how could it not? I know that I haven't wanted to go downtown in years, just short from moving out of there entirely. Just because things were so bad downtown that there was absolutely no point. You can't enjoy yourself down there without having to have your head on a swivel.
Here's a cultural degradation. The old temple downtown is a casino now. Talk about a complete inversion. But I'm curious, just with all of this stuff going on, your thoughts as it pertains to nationalism and how we reverse this trend. How do we restore that spirit? I think Trump's doing. I think that's what he wants to do.
Oh, you can see it for sure. Just take a look, just as an kind of like an iconic moment. Trump and Melania on the balcony with the B-2s flying over. Okay, people obviously have all sorts of mixed feelings about the B-2s and foreign policy, but just focus for a second on the way he sees it, thinking about what does this do for America? This is the greatest technology in the world, he says. And he stands there saluting through the entire Star-Spangled Banner, and then these incredible, these machines that they're just like magic. They're like science fiction. This flying wing thing that can fly to the other side of the world and do pinpoint bomb. He's standing there saluting. He's not saluting the bombers, obviously. He's saluting America, and he really believes in that. And he's trying to inspire that in people.
I think Trump sees largely what I'm discussing, what many people have seen. When you go back to your hometown and see the baseball fields overgrown with weeds, and you say, why was there no steward of this, of what we had, of what we did? Every day we came together. I mean, it's wild to remember when I was a kid to see 6. They played baseball, Little League, next to each other in the fields, and the balls would cross over. It was like, that's how much
games would overlap. Absolutely.
It's crazy. Now nothing but overgrown weeds. I think Trump sees that more so than just this one field. He sees the whole country and says, why aren't we celebrating the 4th of July? Why are they tearing down statues of George Washington? What is happening?
Not just the decline of America, but the decline of Americanism.
And so It's interesting when you look at Los Angeles, you look at these scenes. I mean, there's really a fight here between the will of the Trump administration to kind of reconquer these cities and make them part of America again, and a kind of resistance that doesn't want that America, doesn't want to see it come back.
Indeed. And I think when we're looking at the statements of people like Zoran Mamdani and these Democrats and people like Karen Bass, there's going to come a point, and I think that point is largely now, where people start to recognize there is America, this country, the United States of America, we call it America, and then there is this invasive ideological force with a large component being non-citizens, and of course the non-citizens want what is not theirs. There is, as you mentioned, the American inheritance that our ancestors, be it the children of slaves, Native Americans, the colonists who have been here, and legal immigrants as well, who have said, please tell me by the rules by which I can be a part of your club. And we said yes. And these people these leftists want to bring in those who would oppose and defy and destroy. And of course, when they say our democracy, when they say we are under attack, they are not referring to this country, its values, or its people. They're referring to themselves as an invasive, infecting force that wants to disrupt and dismantle. And now New York, our once great city, has a guy who says he's going to defy the law intentionally. Trump's threatening to arrest him for it. When you have a mayor, and it's not just Zoran Mamdani as a potential mayor, but Karen Bass and all these other mayors saying they will do everything in their power to prevent the federal government from enforcing the law in those places. And then some of these places, like in New York and California, say non-citizens should vote. They are telling you, we are not you. We are not your citizens. We have nothing but disdain for your country, and we will give ourselves the power to destroy you. Trump is saying no to that.
Yeah, and they're just look at the flags they fly. I mean,
foreign countries.
No, they'll fly Mexican flags, Palestinian flags, all sorts of flags, the social revolution flags, but they won't fly American flags.
Well, not to mention seeing Americans burning American flags recently in the news, which is also just ridiculous.
But these are the co-conspirators. These are the people who hate this country, and they want to see it burn, and they're happy living in the fringes in the dirt.
Okay, an important thing is this isn't just two sides, each one saying about the other, oh, you're terrible, which is pretty normal. I mean, it's normal for democracy that there's that kind of thing. Here, as soon as liberalism moves over into Marxism and the explicit goal is overthrowing, right? I mean, when he's talking, Mamdani is saying seize the means of production. He is explicitly talking about uproot the past, uproot the future. There's going to be a whole new world that I'm going to build. It's not the one that you had before.
Yep. Right. Thanks for checking out this clip from Timcast IRL. Make sure to watch the show live Monday through Friday at 8 p.m. Subscribe to this channel, and we will see you all there.